YouTube's Will Development. It's my 283rd weekly update, I believe. Yes. Maybe? I don't know. Hang on. Let's quadruple check. Yes, 283rd weekly update. So I've gotten into this habit recently of essentially just going down the list of my sort of heavier lifts and the recap of the lifting as it pertains to the week. And I think it's a decent habit, and I think I'll continue to do so. So, in that spirit, here we go. So day one was some log pressing, worked up to a heavy 2-rep max of 175, and then did a single at 180 and failed at 190. Disappointed in me there, because man, I really felt like I had that 190, but it was an off day, and I was not totally recovered from the Saturday training I did. Went out and trained with one of the other competitors, as I've done and will continue to do as we head towards Miami's. Just some really good training. It totally fixed my bag toss. I mean, my bag toss was shit. It was just terrible. And then I was actually able to get it over twice, 14 feet or 13 feet, I think, with some room to spare. So it made me feel a lot better about that event. Same thing with the yoke and the farmers. I was able to put some more weight on those and sort of gauge myself against some other people and move some weight and see how things went, and they went pretty well. So I said, cut myself a little bit of slack on that on Monday, and well, that's where we are. Day two, some squats. Back to high bar squatting again. One of the things I've talked about before, I believe, is essentially every week except like quote-unquote test week, where I'm sort of going for a new PR with a particular rep scheme on squats. I'm going to be doing a variant of squats, high bar or safety squat bar, one of those two. Staying away from low bar until it's time for the heavy work or the test week. Worked out really well. Went up to 335 for 3, which is probably the best looking 3 I've done ever. And they felt strong. They felt good. So, you know, there we are with that. So with that in mind, this week, that's not to say I don't touch heavy weights still. Heavy-ish. This week, worked up to a single at 285 on high bar, and a set of 4 at 265. I believe on my weekly update you'll see 200 for a set of 10. Camera looks a little drunk, my bad. It's not what what can I do? The camera did what it did. I mean, guess I could have repeated the set, but it is what it is. You're just going to have to learn to live with it this week. It's not a very common occurrence. I apologize that the screen is kind of hard to watch, but it is what it is. So, day 3, which was yesterday, did some axle clean and press, worked up to a set of 5 at, I want to say 180. Yes. It's hard to read sometimes when you look at my notes. It's like the numbers are kind of like they go past where it is. So at 180, set of 5, which is definitely a PR, and then I hit a single at 190, which is a lifetime PR. I don't believe I've ever put 190 over my head in any way, especially from the floor. So 190 there. Went for 200. Man, it was close. I went for it twice in that same rack, and man, it was really close. But did get a clean PR of 215, which is good. I need to practice cleaning heavy weights. I want to be cleaning like 265 before the comp, because then, if I can clean 265, cleaning 245, being easier is going to give me a better chance of actually pressing the damn thing. It's still a little bit of ways right now, but I get this funny feeling that once I finally break 200, it's going to be my like plateau shattering thing. Getting a lot more confidence once I break that silly number of 200. So getting real close. Maybe even next week it might happen. We'll see. I'm going to do my best. Then tonight was deadlifts. Worked up to a set of 8 at 340. Finally a good deadlift session. Hopefully next week is also a good deadlift session. A set of 8 at 340, and then worked up to some singles because I wanted to touch some singles because I haven't the last couple weeks because I felt so terrible. So I worked up to a single of 365 and then 385, and they both moved very well. I was very pleased with how they moved. Going to go for a 2-rep max next week. We'll see where I'm at. Not going to put any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Expectations on myself like I did last time, where I just totally screwed up that set of 3 at 400. Not going to do that to myself again. It'd be nice if I pulled like 405 for 2, but I'm not going to put it in my head that I need to do that. If it comes that day, it comes, but I would rather it be a good set than, just, I got the rep. You know what I mean? I would like quality to be at least 9 out of 10. Those were pretty garbage. They were 6, 7s out of 10s. They were not good. They're not what I want to look like. Now, that being said, I do believe in acceptable ranges on deadlifts in terms of spinal flexion. And so you'll see it when a lot of times on my deadlift videos, I'll put sort of a label, 8.5 out of 10, that sort of thing. That's because even if you see some flexion, there's an acceptable range in my opinion, and a lot of high-level coaches' opinions. And as long as I'm staying within that acceptable range, I consider it okay. But I've never had a set that was like absolutely perfect. I mean, except for, if I recorded a set of me doing like 10 at 135, yeah, those would be perfect, because it's so light that it doesn't, it doesn't, the bar is coming off the floor before I'm tight. Then I did a set of, then tonight on deadlifts, did a set of 225 for 14. That was one of my sets. That was rough. I felt that in my damn calves. It was so like, oh my God, like, part of that is me working on pushing my big toe into the ground when I do deadlifts, and I'm trying to work on that with squats too. It seems to help engage things a lot more. Some people talk about it, and until you try it, sometimes it's like, this actually might do something, But it definitely did for me on the deadlift. I definitely feel the sort of the more activation, if I might. Even if it's not actually activating more, it feels that way. And if it feels that way, then it is that way. It's that simple when it comes to lifting. A lot of times it comes down to that. If it feels X, then it is. Sort of like a lot of recovery modalities don't actually do a whole lot in terms of recovery, but if it makes you feel good and helps you move better, then it works. It's that simple, A lot of people bash things like, like lacrosse balls or foam rolling and that sort of thing, and it's like, I don't personally do a lot of that, but if you want to use a massage gun before you squat because it makes your hip feel good, fuck me, dude, use it. I'm not going to tell you no, you know what I mean? And if it feels like it works, then it works. It's that simple, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. So that's my little tidbit for the week, I guess. I know I kind of went everywhere. Be sure to check out my TWO videos, my 2 videos, the week of videos. They come out every Wednesday at about 1 a.m. And I say about because I set them to 1 a.m., but who knows if they actually drop then. But they're supposed to come out at 1 a.m. every Wednesday. Going to be compiling the footage from the comp this weekend. Last weekend just wasn't going to happen. It was way too busy. I had a bachelor party to go to. Technically, I have a wedding this weekend, but I'll have time Saturday night to work on it, so I'll do that then. I apologize if you were looking forward to that footage. I will have it out, and it'll come out. There is one other thing I want to mention. Let's see, the one of the videos that it's going to be on this week's 2 video, the squat video. Something happened with my phone while I was being recorded, and the whole thing's really like jittery. Almost like you're drunk when you're watching it. I apologize. It's the best footage I have. I wasn't going to change it. You can still see what's going on to an extent. I apologize for that. I do everything I can to sort of provide the best footage that I can. Some things just can't be helped, It is what it is. And, I'll do my best to make sure that stuff doesn't happen. That's all I can promise you, you know what I mean? So, just to be forewarned, if you do happen to watch those videos, just, a heads up, you're going to be watching about a minute of, like, really wobbly squat footage. Not me being wobbly, the camera being wobbly. So, keep calm. It'll be okay. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled, not so shaky cam footage later. Hopefully. That's about it this week. Like I said, I got a wedding to go to this weekend. Gonna do a little training on Saturday, tomorrow. Probably gonna be a lighter day. A lot of accessory movements, a lot of back movement, and some hamstring stuff. Actually had time to do some squat accessory movements on Tuesday for the first time in a while, so it felt good to do those. So I'm going to do some hamstring stuff and probably run a couple of events, maybe keep it a little bit lighter, just work on some speed on the yoke, that kind of thing. Even just a little bit of technique tweaks. I've been researching some alternative technique ideas there. Always trying to find something that might help me do it better. And I think everybody should be doing that. You know, if you find a technique that works really good right now, that could be different later on. It's one of those things. Don't become attached to any specific idea. You know, like 5-3-1, it's not the king. You know, 3 sets 5 isn't king. West side isn't king. German volume training, that's not king. You know what I mean? You're going to do a lot better if you sort of go in between these sort of ideas of programs. You know, undulating periodization, even that, like, which is what I'm a big fan of, sort of anticipating deloads and stuff like that. I'm a fan of that sort of stuff, but even then, I'll still throw in, you see, I do a lot of volume work still too, you know. All of these things help. There's a purpose behind singles, there's a purpose behind threes, there's a purpose behind sets of 15, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid to try something different, as it may actually help transfer over to the bigger and better lifting. And, you know, that's the goal at the end of the day, isn't it? So keep that in mind, and if you don't, then what's your excuse?